Hey there, rugby fans. Today, we are diving into the impact of one player on another's career, and it's a story that's both inspiring and thought-provoking. Now, I'm not just talking about any player, but Will Skelton, a Wallaby lock who's made a significant mark on the rugby world. But what's even more fascinating is how his influence has shaped the career of Aiden Stait, a young lock who's now making waves with the ACT Brumbies. Now, I personally find this story so interesting because it highlights the power of mentorship and the ripple effect it can have on a player's journey. It's not just about the individual's talent, but also the guidance and support they receive along the way. So, let's break it down and explore the impact of Skelton on Stait's career. First things first, let's talk about Will Skelton. Now, in my opinion, Skelton is a player who embodies the spirit of rugby. He's a lock who's played for Saracens and La Rochelle, and his time abroad has been nothing short of remarkable. But what makes him so special is his ability to inspire and mentor young players like Stait. Now, when Stait was considering his options, he was initially a rugby league player true and true. But an opportunity with the NSW Waratahs Academy beckoned, and that's when Skelton came into the picture. Skelton, who had spent time abroad with Saracens and La Rochelle, convinced Stait to pursue an opportunity with French club Bayonne. Now, what makes this so fascinating is the impact Skelton had on Stait's decision. Stait said, "He was unreal. He really gave me the pros and cons and said, 'Mate, I love it, so I reckon you will too.'" And that's the kind of mentorship that can make a huge difference in a player's career. Now, let's talk about Aiden Stait. Stait is a young lock who's now making waves with the ACT Brumbies. At just 22, he's already had the chance to live abroad and is now primed for a massive few years ahead with a Super Rugby Pacific side. But what's really interesting is how his time abroad has shaped his perspective on rugby. Now, Stait initially spent a few years in Basque Country with the top 14 club, Bayonne. And while he never got the chance to play minutes in the top 14, he still took plenty out of the experience. But still, being back down under with the Brumbies seemed like another crucial next step for him. Now, what's really fascinating is how Stait's time abroad has influenced his decision to return home. He said, "Development-wise, I just think it was better to come back here." And that's the kind of perspective that can make a huge difference in a player's career. Now, let's talk about the impact of Skelton on Stait's career. Skelton's mentorship and guidance have been instrumental in shaping Stait's journey. And it's not just about the individual's talent, but also the support and encouragement they receive along the way. Now, what's really interesting is how Skelton's influence has extended beyond Stait. He's also had a significant impact on players like Chris Talakai and Reece Hodge. And that's the kind of ripple effect that can make a huge difference in a player's career. Now, in my opinion, this story highlights the importance of mentorship and guidance in rugby. It's not just about the individual's talent, but also the support and encouragement they receive along the way. And that's the kind of perspective that can make a huge difference in a player's career. Now, what's really fascinating is how Skelton's influence has shaped the rugby world. He's a player who embodies the spirit of rugby, and his impact on Stait's career is just one example of how he's making a difference. And that's the kind of perspective that can make a huge difference in the sport. Now, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question. What do you think is the role of mentorship in rugby? How can we ensure that young players like Stait receive the support and guidance they need to succeed? And most importantly, how can we ensure that the spirit of rugby is passed on from one generation to the next? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.